So here in this first part, yeah, you're just using this Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, to find the lengths of your missing side. Again, in the directions, I say keep in mind your hypotenuse, c, is always the longest leg, and it's across from the right angle. So if it helps you to draw the right angle in, and then across from it, that is always our c value. So as we set up the Pythagorean theorem in that first problem, you're actually doing, A and B are just legs. So you could call that side A, the 4 could be side B, and then C is always your hypotenuse. So if I fill in what I know and solve for what I don't, if A is 3, I'm just going to sub that in, so this will be 3 squared. B is 4, so this will be 4 squared. And I'm trying to figure out what C is, right? So that's C squared on the other side. Last time I checked, 3 squared is 9, and 4 squared is 16. That'll give me the value of my C squared. 9 plus 16 is 25. And that's equal to C squared. So if I wanted to find what C was, I just got to square root both sides to get rid of the squared. So we solve for C. The x value in this problem is c, and the square root of 25 is 5. So I now know my missing side is 5. So that's solving for the hypotenuse. Maybe I'll do number 2 with you too. Then I'll cut you loose on 3 and 4. We'll see how you do. So for number 2, again, it helps to draw the right angle in, I think. And then if you look across from it, that's our C value. So our hypotenuse in this case is 2. And then A and B are just legs. So, you could have A be your X and B be 1. So if we're doing A squared plus B squared equals C squared, filling in what you know, solving for what you don't. We're looking at X squared because that's A. B was 1, so this will be B squared or 1 squared. And then C squared, C was 2. So I'm going to fill in a 2 there. Don't forget to square it though. And then I'll simplify both sides of my equal sign. So I have X squared plus 1 equals 4. And then to solve for x, I would start by subtracting 1 from both sides. So x squared equals 3. Square root. So our x value here would be 3. Square root of 3. Sorry, I almost hit the wrong thing. So that's that answer there. All right, I'm going to pause for a second, let you work out those last two, see if you can do the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the missing side. So just taking a second to, you get 1 for both of those. Number 3, you're doing 0.8 squared plus 0.6 squared. 0.8 squared is just 0.64, and then 0.6 squared is 0.36. You put those together, you get 1, and then the square root of 1 is 1. And then if you do x squared plus 9 equals 10, subtract 9 from both sides. Again, you get x squared equals 1, square root it, you get 1. So hopefully that helps you with those two. And if you got that, you are ready for today, for sure. Again, it helps to have a calculator. Are there any questions before we get into this? So the goal in this section is to just review our understanding of setting up our 6 trigonometric functions. So that is what we are going to do today. So just a little bit of review. This first column in this chart here is just a review of SOHCAHTOA. So see there we have a SOHCAHTOA in the first column. In other words, sine is equal to the ratio of the opposite over the hypotenuse. Cosine is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And then tangent is equal to the ratio of the opposite over the adjacent. We're going to take this one step further, because starting Wednesday, we begin to put these things on the coordinate plane. So remember that your sine was always your y coordinate, And in this case, we're going to go off of the unit circle in this chapter, and we're going to define our hypotenuse as just the general radius. Cosine was your x coordinate, and then the hypotenuse is going to be a general radius. And then tangent was sine over cosine, or your y over your x. So if you want to add those things in, that'll help us a little bit. On the right side of the t-chart, you get to see our reciprocal trig functions. So basically what I'm saying is if you want to find cosecant, you just flip everything you know about sine. So if sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite, or you could just say that that's r over y. Secant is the reciprocal of your cosine values. So if you're taking a look at cosine and understanding it's adjacent over hypotenuse, to calculate secant, we just flip it. So it's hypotenuse over adjacent. So instead of being x over r, we would say this guy is r over x. And then to get cotangent, you just flip everything you know about tangent. So if tangent is defined as the ratio of the opposite side over the adjacent side, or y over x, we see cotangent becomes adjacent over opposite. So we flipped it. And instead of being y over x, it would be x over y. So our goal for today is to find the 6 trig functions. Read that. All right, so the glaring issue I see with this first problem here is that we're missing the value of that adjacent side. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back to the, what we did in the warm-up, and I'm going to go ahead and solve for that missing side. I'm going to go ahead and do the Pythagorean theorem. So we have x squared plus 2 squared equals 4 squared. So we have x squared plus 4 equals 16. Subtract 4 from both sides, and then square root. Remember, we try super hard to leave our answers exact. The square root of 12, that does break down. That's the square root of 4 times the square root of 3, or 2 square roots of 3. So that's your missing side or your adjacent side. So we now know what x is. This side here is now 2 square roots of 3. So if we want to find the sine value, remember sine, if we're standing at our angle, we can find the sine of theta. We can find the sine of that angle value. Think back to the chart we just talked about. It's the opposite. So the side all the way across, that's our opposite over our hypotenuse. So the sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse, or in this case, 2 over 4. We wouldn't leave 2/4 there though, it's just a half. Cosine is defined as our adjacent over our hypotenuse. So if we're standing at theta, the adjacent side is right next to theta. So in this case, we're looking at the adjacent side is 2 square roots of 3. Your hypotenuse is still 4. But you see how you have a factor of the factors of 2 and 4 in your numerator and denominator? You can actually reduce that a little bit. 2 over 4 is a half. So we're actually looking at the square root of 3 over 2 if we reduce those fractions. Those numbers look a little familiar, huh? 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. Notice the hypotenuse isn't 1 though. The hypotenuse is 4. So we have something that's off the unit circle but still producing those famous sine, cosine, and tangent values. That's a pretty cool connection. Last but not least, tangent is defined as the opposite over the adjacent. So if I'm standing at theta, again, my opposite side was 2. My adjacent was 2 root 3. So I'll go ahead and write that as 2 over 2 root 3. The 2's cancel, and you have 1 over the square root of 3. But we don't really leave that as an answer. You can't have a square root in the bottom. So just reviewing with you, you would multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 3. So the answer to this one is the square root of 3 over 3. to get the second column, you just flip everything in the first. So the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1. You could just write that as 2. The reciprocal of the square root of 3 over 2 would be 2 over the square root of 3, which we just learned to get rid of that square root of 3 on the bottom. You multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 3. When we multiply fractions, you multiply straight across the top, so that'll be 2 square roots of 3 on the top. And then on the bottom, the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, that's the square root of 3 squared, that's 3. Or you could look at it as the square root of 9. Any way you slice it, that's 3. And then to get cotangent, I'm going to flip this easy value that we found for tangent. Remember when we crossed off these 2's here, we saw that tangent was 1 over the square root of 3. I would just flip that. That's the square root of 3 over 1, which is just the square root of 3. And that's the goal of the first portion of this lesson, is to just find your 6 trig function values using SOHCAHTOA and the reciprocal. Questions about that one? Okay, we're going to do one more together. All right, so first things first, I'm missing a side, dang it. So I got to do my Pythagorean theorem. Got to figure out what that adjacent side is. So I would do a squared plus b squared equals c squared from your warm-up today. So we got x squared plus 25 equals 169. I would then go ahead and subtract 25 from both sides. And we get 144, which is so nice because that's then just a perfect square. Love it when that happens. So x is 12. So what we're learning from this is that 5, 12, 13 is a Pythagorean triple. And it's a lot easier when they work out to be integers because we don't have to worry about like rationalizing the denominator or anything like that. So when your numbers work out, it's a lot easier. So again, sine is the ratio of your opposite over hypotenuse. So sine is going to be 5 over 13. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's going to be 12 over 13. And then tangent is always your opposite over your adjacent. So that's going to be 5 over 12. And then to get your reciprocal functions, you just flip what you found there, right? So panning over here a little bit, if I want to find cosecant, but I know sine is 5/13, well, cosecant is just 13/5. And for secant, if I know cosine is 12/13, well, secant is just 13/12. And then cotangent, since that's the reciprocal of tangent, I can just flip. So that's 12/5. And that's it. So it's a lot easier when the numbers work out nice. Okay, so for you're going to go ahead and take care of 3 and 4 as part of your homework tonight, and I'll show you some answers too. I think they're also in the completed notes archive too if you're like desperate, but I'll go over them with you tomorrow.